This is the Herd Line News.
Led the Raptors to their first NBA Finals in historic fashion. In his 18 playoff games so far, he's averaged 31.2 points on 50.7% shooting and 38.8% from three-point range. And those averages have led him to a total of 561 points, which is the sixth most out of any player in the playoffs before the finals. We have the list up right now. Number one is LeBron in 2017-18, Hakeem Olajuwon, Jordan, Durant, and then Kawhi. Jordan twice, and then Kawhi. It's a pretty impressive group he's in there.
Well, I mean, when you think of those guys, you think of dominant offensive players. And Kawhi, for a lot of years, we just thought he was the best defensive player in the league. So the fact that when you say Durant, MJ, LeBron.
Yeah, you just think buckets.
You think buckets, and it's like Kawhi, until this year, I thought what made him a top five player was his defense.
Well, to me, before this year, I always thought of Kawhi as obviously a great defensive player, but also just a very clutch player, a very reliable, solid, sturdy player, like a player that you know can make a big shot, but you don't necessarily think is going to go out there and maybe get you volume shooting the way that all those guys do that you just mentioned. I don't know that Kawhi's leaving Toronto now. I was pretty sure about it throughout the playoffs, and now, and even if they had made it to the finals, I don't know. I got to tell you, watching the atmosphere there in Toronto, it's a little different to have an entire country behind you. I mean, he's got the whole
What do you
country.
make of this? What do you make of that video this weekend with his sister and somebody in the background yells, "We all know he's going anyway"? What do you make of that?
I don't know. I mean,
he doesn't talk to a lot of people, so his sister would know, right? Like his uncle runs he's his manager.
His uncle's very involved in what he does, yes. I don't think anybody has made any decisions. I don't think Kawhi has made a decision. I don't think Durant's made a decision. I think this is all of us just talking and creating these scenarios and looking for breadcrumbs. We talk about it all the time. LeBron made his decision 2 days before. I think they're 100% focused on basketball. There's no way that you can spread your mind that thin to be thinking about where you're going after something and be successful at what you're doing in the present at the level that he is doing it. So I don't think anybody's made any decisions yet, but that atmosphere in Toronto was
it's
crazy.
fantastic.
And watching the fans in the street, like he's going to be beloved there no matter what for the rest of time. If he stays there, I don't know. I think he might stay. So Tom Brady will be 42 years old when he starts his 20th NFL season this fall. It's like kind of remarkable to even say that. He's not the only one in New England battling Father Time, though. The Patriots are officially the NFL's oldest team with a league-high 15 players aged 30 or older. Falcons have 14, followed by the Bills, Panthers, Redskins, Cardinals, Saints, Giants, Ravens, and Eagles. Yeah. With the teams with the most players age 30 or over. We were talking about it earlier that the Patriots are that team that convinces themselves that they are the underdogs every single year. So maybe this year it'll be that everyone's just saying they're too old to make it happen again. On the flip side, you'll like this note, the youngest team in the league is Cleveland.
And they have
tied with Jacksonville with only 3 players over the age of 30.
You know, Cleveland is the over-under on Cleveland is 9. They are, I think, at least tied as a front runner to get Gerald McCoy, the really good guy, the defensive tackle. The Tampa didn't want to pay. If they get him, and you look at their defensive line, Lord, it's good. Cleveland's young. Yeah, they're young. They have a coach with no experience as a head coach.
Look, I will say this, and I kind of can't believe I'm saying this, but I do see a lot of similarities to the LA Rams in the style that they're putting the team together. They have a new head coach. Sean McVay was young. Obviously, I know they're not the exact same because Sean McVay's personality is very opposite of what's going on in Cleveland, but I just think if they can establish a culture, I know there's a lot of noise and there's a lot going on, but if they can establish a culture there in Cleveland, they can do something special. If they, stay focused. You're looking at me like I'm a crazy person.
No, I think youngest NFL team, least experienced head coach.
Look, I think their expectations for this year, realistic expectations for this year to be a successful season is to make the playoffs.
That'd be great. It'd be great.
To me, that is a success.
And I think that they will be battling to the last week for that.
Right.
And I'm a hater for saying that.
No, you're not. It's realistic. We're not erasing everything that the Cleveland Browns have been. I just think that is your goal should always be Super Bowl. I have no problem with your goal being to win a Super Bowl. It should always be to win a Super Bowl. But I think success for them this year will be making the playoffs. Is that they're battling a lot. So the Lakers have been mentioned in trade rumors many times over the last few months, especially when it comes to Anthony Davis. Yeah. And one player that's been assumed to be involved in any Lakers trade at this point is Lonzo Ball. His injury history, and there's been some concerns about his trade value. However, one NBA source tells NBC Sports that people just don't grasp how good he is. Now, the interesting thing about Lonzo to me, especially going into this offseason, is his relationship with LeBron. Yeah. He was on the shop with him, and it appears that LeBron has taken a liking to Lonzo, which I think is a good thing. And they seem to be playing well. They were playing well together.
His issue is injuries.
His issue is only injuries. To me, Lonzo is invaluable when he's on the court. He's everything we expected him to be. People put way too much expectation on the amount of scoring that he was going to do. And when you look at his numbers and you compare them to the people that he was compared to coming into the league after his 2 years, they're comparable to Jason Kidd and Gary Payton. He's not been in the league that long. We all need to stop being so dramatic, especially at his position.
Well, he's incredibly long. He's a 6'5" point.
He's very long.
Good rebounder.
Incredible passer.
Yeah, no, I mean, and by the way, last year, before he got hurt, he's always been a spotty three-point shooter. Lonzo did one thing last year before he got hurt that was and I watch all the Laker games. He started finishing aggressively at the rim because the knock on him was, dude, don't be just perimeter. You're a 6'5" point. Go to the rim and jam it. He had about an 8-game stretch before he got hurt. You're like, oh, no. He has added a dimension to his game.
Well, also, his body completely changed from year 1 to year 2, which is expected because he got a year older. Like he looks like a different player. But I will say, though, if that trade does end up happening, which I have very, very slim chances of it happening to the Pelicans, it would be fun along Zion.
That'd be great. And Drew Holiday.
Yes.
You'd have 2 natural scorers. Yeah, that would be interesting.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be interesting.
Joy with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Line News.
Always considered the Warriors in a group of 6 teams as maybe the second best ever behind Jordan's Bulls. I now think if they win this year, Jordan's Bulls and the Warriors are absolutely the 2 greatest teams ever, and they've separated. I'll explain why. Plus, a man who covers these Clippers regularly. The Kawhi rumors next in L.A. Memorial Day, it's The Herd.